These are the black billionaires who are secretly owning Tokyo. And as the video goes on, the power gets bigger and the secrets get crazier. First, one man controls more of this city than most Japanese corporations. And the wildest part, nobody in Tokyo even knows his name. He doesn't show up on local TV, he doesn't take selfies in the street. But his money is in the data centers, the real estate, and the software running inside Japan's biggest companies, and he is not alone. Behind the neon lights of Shinjuku and the high-tech towers of Roppongi, a handful of black entrepreneurs have quietly built empires that most locals will never see coming. Let's reveal the richest black men who are secretly owning Tokyo. Number 8. Menya Hinga, the man who turned fitness into a movement. Most people who move to Japan become English teachers and stay English teachers. Menya Hinga became an English teaching assistant in Nagoya, looked at that path, and quietly decided it was not going to be his story. Menya is originally from Massachusetts. He came to Japan after college, spent 18 months teaching in Nagoya, then made a move that most people in his position would never risk. He relocated to Tokyo and started over from scratch in a completely different industry. No fitness brand, no clients, and no reputation in the city. Just the belief that he could build something real. He started coaching in 2011 and has not stopped since. What he built is not just a personal training business, it is an ecosystem. MH Health Coaching is his flagship, a premium one-on-one online coaching program for busy professionals and expats across Tokyo and beyond. Clients average 10 kilograms of weight lost, not in a year, but in months. Then he co-founded Sogo Fitness, a free outdoor bootcamp community that became the largest of its kind in Japan, pulling in fitness seekers from across Tokyo every week with no membership fee and no barrier to entry. Then came CoFit Movement, a corporate wellness startup working directly with companies to bring sustainable health practices inside the workplace. 3 businesses, 1 man, a self-made titan of health who proved that dominance requires 0 local connections. Built in a country where he arrived knowing almost no one. Menya Hinga is a father of 4, raising his family in Tokyo while running multiple businesses and producing content that reaches tens of thousands of followers across YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. His newsletter reaches over 3,500 subscribers every week. He did not arrive in Tokyo with capital or connections. He arrived with discipline, and he used it to build a platform that now shapes how an entire community of expats and professionals in Japan think about their health. However, corporate salaries have a ceiling. The next entrepreneur on our list decided to build his own roof, constructing the information highway that every other expat in Japan now relies on to survive. Number 7. Justin, the black salaryman inside Japan Inc. Here is something most people watching this video have never considered. While the rest of the world is focused on black entrepreneurs building businesses outside the Japanese system, one man walked straight into the heart of Japanese corporate culture and built his wealth from within it. Justin is a corporate planner at Konamic Network, a Japanese IT firm headquartered in Tokyo. He wears a suit. He attends standing meetings. He works inside a company where the majority of his colleagues are Japanese and the working language is Japanese. He is not running a restaurant or a studio or a wellness brand. He is a black man who cracked the code of the Japanese salaryman system that most foreigners never even attempt to enter. Getting hired as a full-time corporate employee at a Japanese company as a foreigner is genuinely difficult. The language requirement alone eliminates most candidates before the conversation even begins. The cultural expectations, the hierarchy, the pace, the unspoken rules of how you carry yourself in a Japanese office environment. Justin navigated all of it. He speaks Japanese fluently. He understands the culture deeply enough to operate inside it every single day without friction. And he earns a corporate salary inside one of the most demanding work cultures on Earth. Justin's story was featured in a documentary episode by The Melanated Files, one of the most watched Black in Japan content platforms on YouTube, and the response was immediate. The comment sections lit up. Young black men across the world who had never considered Japan as a place to build a corporate career saw his daily life and reconsidered everything they thought they knew about what was possible. His Japanese CEO appeared on camera and spoke directly about what Justin brings to the organization. Moving to the next man on our list, who did just not take a job inside someone else's vision. He built a media empire from scratch and spent over 2 decades making sure the world saw Japan through a different set of eyes. Number 6. Eric Robinson, the Black Tokyo architect. Eric L. Robinson was born in Detroit, Michigan in 1963. He joined the United States Marine Corps at 17 years old. He worked as an interrogator and intelligence analyst. He speaks English, Japanese, and Korean. He holds a Master of Arts in Security Studies from the United States Naval Postgraduate School and has appeared on CNN, BBC, Newsweek, France 24, The Huffington Post, The Guardian, and The Japan Times. He is a business owner, a media creator, a former professor at the Defense Language Institute, and the man behind one of the longest-running Black platforms in the history of Japan. He first arrived in Japan in 1981 when his ship docked in Okinawa during his time in uniform. Japan got into his blood immediately. Over the following decades, he traveled back and forth, built a life across both countries, and eventually came to understand that there was a story being missed. Black people were living, working, and building lives in Japan, and nobody was telling that story from the inside, so he told it himself. Black Tokyo launched in 1999 under founder Craig Hankerson. Eric took ownership of the platform a few years later and transformed it into something no one else was doing. Real information about visas, apartment hunting, crime, custody disputes, and government policy. It grew into a YouTube channel, a podcast, a media brand, and eventually Black Tokyo Goto Kaisha, a registered Japanese company based in Yokosuka that connects Japanese markets with American military bases across Japan, Okinawa, Korea, Singapore, and Guam. The Black Tokyo store followed, a physical retail shop in Yokosuka carrying curated Japanese and American beverages and products. Former President Obama followed the Black Tokyo Twitter account. Director Ava DuVernay followed it too. Eric Robinson has been building in Japan for over 40 years. He is married with 3 sons. He runs a government supply company, a retail store, a YouTube channel, a podcast, and a media brand that has been the go-to resource for Black people navigating Japan since the internet was still a new idea. Now, wait until you see the Ghanaian chef who spent 25 years climbing through Tokyo's most prestigious kitchens before opening the restaurant that made him a cult figure across the entire city. Number 5. Richie Abaidu, the Wagyu chef from Ghana. There is a 20-seat restaurant in Azabu Juban that Black travelers from across the world now specifically put on their Tokyo itineraries. The chef runs it alone most nights. He hand-selects every cut of beef directly from Shikishima Farm in Tochigi Prefecture. He named it Didi Grande, combining the Akan word for eating with the Latin word for abundance. His name is Richie Abaidu, and he is from Ghana. And the road he took to get to that restaurant took 25 years. Richie started his culinary career in Ginza, at Bar de España Pero, where he fell in love with the pace of a professional kitchen and worked his way up to assistant manager. He was not satisfied. He moved to Grand Hyatt Tokyo and learned what world-class hospitality actually looked like from the inside. In 2010, he became part of the founding team at Two Rooms Grill/Bar, working alongside top Hyatt food and beverage executives to help build one of the most celebrated dining destinations in Tokyo. By 2015, after close to 2 decades inside other people's kitchens, he opened his first restaurant, Farm Grill/Bar in Tachikawa. He ran it, built it into something real, and successfully sold it in 2017. He spent 2 more years sharpening his Italian cuisine skills at Trattoria Gran Bocca in Itabashi. And then in 2019, he opened Didi Grande. Didi Grande has become a word-of-mouth phenomenon in Tokyo's Black travel community. Visitors fly in from the United States, the United Kingdom, and across Africa and put it on their itinerary specifically because someone they trusted told them to go. Reviewers describe Richie as one of the finest hosts in the city, a man who runs his restaurant with the kind of personal attention that most establishments 10 times its size cannot replicate. Time Out Tokyo featured Didi Grande. The restaurant has appeared in Japan's Tabelog listings with consistent acclaim from both Japanese and international guests. Richie owns the kitchen. The next family on our list owns the night. They operate a 3-venue empire that dictates the social heartbeat of Roppongi. Number 4. Frank and Kobe Amanfo, the Roppongi Empire. Frank Anthony Amanfo has been in Japan for over 25 years. He came from Ghana Commercial Bank in Kumasi, traveled to Japan on leave, and never fully left. He saw something in Tokyo that most visitors miss on their first trip. Not just a city to visit, but a city with room to build, if you were willing to stay long enough to understand it. He stayed. And when his son Kobe joined him 15 years ago, the two of them became something the city had never quite seen before: a Ghanaian father and son team operating as business partners at the highest levels of Tokyo's hospitality industry. Their first major move was taking over R2 Supper Club in Roppongi in 2016. R2 had already established itself as one of Tokyo's hottest night spots since opening in 2011, known for its sound system, its elevated cocktail menu, and its multicultural clientele. Frank, Kobe, and their third partner Gasim Kuwamaki did not just inherit its reputation. They rebuilt it from the inside. Handcrafted Kamomi speakers, a new food menu, resident DJs spinning funk, soul, and R&B with precision. They sharpened everything and held it together. R2 pulls 60% of its clientele from the international community and 40% from Japanese locals. That ratio in Roppongi, one of the most competitive entertainment districts in Asia, is not an accident. It is the result of 2 decades of relationship building and an instinctive understanding of what a room needs to feel right. In 2021, with R2 already a mainstay, they launched 2 new venues simultaneously. R1 Tokyo opened across 2 floors in the GEM's Roppongi building, with a bar on the first level and a 40-seat restaurant on the second serving Japanese, Italian, and Caribbean cuisine. R3 Club Lounge launched the same year as a full nightlife venue designed to attract international DJs and cement their standing in the Tokyo scene permanently. 3 venues, 1 family, all in Roppongi. The Amanfo family now operates one of the most significant Black-owned hospitality groups in the history of Tokyo nightlife. Frank Amanfo proved that the best time to plant your flag in a city is before the city knows it needs you. His son Kobe has publicly stated his long-term ambitions extend beyond Japan, including plans to build an amusement park in Ghana. The empire is still being built, and they are only getting started. They've effectively cornered the high-end international market, building an unparalleled nightlife dynasty. Meanwhile, nightlife is volatile. Success today can be gone tomorrow. The man at number 4 built something much more permanent, a cultural embassy that serves as the secret boardroom for global icons like Jay-Z. Number 3, David Whitaker, the soul food diplomat. The most important gathering place for Black professionals, diplomats, athletes, and entrepreneurs in all of Tokyo is not a boardroom or a 5-star hotel. It is a soul food restaurant on the 6th floor of an unmarked office building in Azabu-Juban. And the man who co-built it never planned to open a restaurant at all. David Whitaker grew up in Atlanta. He is a musician. He came to Tokyo on what was supposed to be a 2-year mission trip alongside his wife Latonya after they befriended a Japanese pastor in seminary school in Georgia. What was meant to be 2 years became 3, then 5, then 10. The city kept them. During their first year in Tokyo, a Japanese friend suggested they host a Thanksgiving dinner to introduce American culture to their neighborhood. 40 people came. The next year, more arrived. By the 10th year, that small gathering had grown into a neighborhood event, drawing over 200 people, most of them strangers who had heard about a couple from the American South, who made food that tasted like home. David and Latonya launched a catering company called Taste the Love in 2013. They cooked at events hosted by the U.S. ambassador at the Prince Hotel in Shinagawa and for Nobu Japan. They appeared on NHK, Nihon TV, and Fuji TV, introducing Japanese audiences to Southern cuisine for the first time. Then, an Australian Chinese restaurateur undergoing cancer treatment needed someone to take over his space in Azabu-Juban. Latonya stepped in, and in August 2015, Soul Food House opened. Soul Food House today is a cultural institution unlike anything else in Tokyo. 60% of their customers are Japanese locals and 40% are international. Million-dollar deals have been made at their lunch tables because David and LaTonya have personally connected the right people at the right moment. They connected Jay-Z with Tokyo's black business ecosystem during one of his visits. They helped D'ART Shtajio appear in Pharrell Williams' landmark entrepreneur video. They founded Legacy Foundation Japan to help black people in the city connect with their history, identity, and community. LaTonya has appeared on Netflix's Ugly Delicious with David Chang and been featured in government tourism campaigns for the city of Tokyo. Community is powerful, but it's only half the story. Now, we look at the brothers who invaded the most competitive animation industry on the planet and forced the masters of anime to accept them as equals. Number 2. Arthell and Darnell Isom, the anime architects. Every great creative empire requires two distinct pillars to survive: a visionary who can see the future and an operator who can build the road to get there. In the heart of Shinjuku, brothers Arthell and Darnell Isom have combined these two forces to achieve something the Japanese industry once thought was impossible. Most people spend their whole lives looking for the door. The Isom brothers built their own, forged it in the fire of the world's most competitive animation market, and walked through it together. Their story began in a humble, high-stakes environment in Paterson, New Jersey. Growing up in a household where resources were scarce but imagination was limitless, their father, an entrepreneur and sound designer, instilled a singular, non-negotiable belief: always be building something. While other kids played, the brothers were busy drawing characters on scrap paper, inventing intricate storylines, and acting out the expansive worlds they had created together. They shared the same dream from the moment they could speak. The only question was how two kids from Paterson would eventually conquer the masters of Japanese anime. Arthell was the first to strike out into the unknown. In the early 2000s, he discovered the medium through a television block called Anime Unleashed on the G4 channel. After watching Ghost in the Shell, directed by the legendary Hiromasa Ogura, Arthell made a decision that would have sounded like a delusion to anyone else. He was going to Japan to learn from the best animators on Earth. When art schools in San Francisco failed to provide the depth he craved, Arthell bypassed the gatekeepers and cold-emailed Ogura's studio, Production YG, directly. Against every conceivable odd, Ogura responded. Arthell relocated to Tokyo, mastered the Japanese language from scratch, and earned a spot at the most prestigious studio in the country. As the only foreigner in the room, he adapted to the brutal salaryman work ethic, working from dawn until the following morning and frequently sleeping at his desk. For 12 years, Arthell worked under the masters, accumulating legendary credits on Bleach, Naruto, Black Butler, and Lupin III. But while Arthell was mastering the art, Darnell was developing the organizational foundation required to turn that talent into a scalable business empire. In 2016, the brothers officially co-founded D'ART Shtajio in Shinjuku. The name itself is a masterclass in strategic branding, merging the Japanese word shitaji, meaning underpainting or foundation, with the word tsutagio. It is a phrase rooted in the core philosophy that shitaji ga daiji. The foundation is everything. While Arthell serves as the CEO and the creative face, Darnell is the invisible operator, the foundation, who ensures the studio runs with the precision of a high-tech machine. Today, D'ART Shtajio is no longer a curiosity, it is a global standard. Their portfolio is a who's who of modern media dominance, with credits spanning Attack on Titan, One Piece, Tokyo Ghoul, Gintama, Fire Force, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They have transitioned from traditional anime into the world of global music and fashion, producing animation for The Weeknd, Sturgill Simpson's Netflix anthology, and appearing in Pharrell Williams' landmark entrepreneur video. They even partnered with NBA player Johnny O'Brien's agency, Noir Caesar, to create Exogenesis, a project that redefined how Black protagonists are viewed in the anime space. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government now holds D'ART Shtajio up as the definitive model for international entrepreneurship. Arthell and Darnell Isom proved that the most dangerous thing you can bring into a room not built for you is a level of skill so undeniable and a foundation so unshakable that the room has no choice but to change its shape. Darnell ensures the world sees the credits. Arthell ensures there is something revolutionary worth crediting. Now here is the most interesting one on our list. The man arrived in Tokyo over 40 years ago with $300 in his pocket, no plan, and one very specific vision of the future, and then spent the next 4 decades proving he was right. Number 1. Kyle Sexton, the $100,000 carrot cake empire. One of the longest-standing black business empires in Tokyo was not built with venture capital or a Harvard MBA. It was built with flour, sugar, eggs, and freshly grated carrots. Kyle Sexton grew up in York, Pennsylvania. He was a photo finisher who processed film across New York, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. He had no culinary training, no business connections, and wasn't even Japanese. One evening in 1978, he walked into a Japanese restaurant in Manhattan, ate sushi for the first time, and woke up the next morning a different man. He taught himself Japanese from scratch. He built Japanese friendships. He ate lunch every day at a restaurant called Shogun, where Spike Lee's sister regularly served him, and spent every weekend at a Greenwich Village cafe that screened Japanese television with English subtitles. He surrounded himself with the culture completely and set one goal: Tokyo. In December 1984, he boarded his first-ever airplane with $300 in his pocket, a bag of books, and no plan. He was 27 years old. He landed in Tokyo and refused to leave. His first years were spent teaching English to survive. In his free time, he baked carrot cakes, brownies, cheesecake, and banana bread, and gave them away at parties as gifts. Then 3 Japanese friends tasted his carrot cake, handed him $10,000 each, and a 4th found him a building in Nakano. No interest on the loans. In Japanese culture, they considered it a gift. On March 8, 1992, Kyle's Good Finds opened its doors. The Japanese had never tasted anything like it. By 1994, the bakery was clearing nearly $100,000 in profit every single year. He has not changed one item on the menu since opening day. Same carrot cake, same brownies, same cheesecake, same banana bread. In a city obsessed with reinvention, Kyle Sexton built his empire on absolute consistency. Over 30 years later, Kyle Sexton still wakes up at 6 a.m. to bake. His carrot cake is considered the finest in all of Asia. Culinary awards, national newspaper features, millions of social media videos from travelers who make the trip to Nakano specifically for a slice. LaTonya Whitaker of Soul Food House, one of the most connected black figures in Tokyo, has called Kyle's Good Finds a cornerstone of the black community in Japan. His son Xavier has joined the business, and the transition to the next generation is already underway. Which story shocked you the most? Was it the Marine from Detroit who built a media empire out of information? Or the man from York, Pennsylvania, who turned a carrot cake into a 40-year legacy with $300? Tell us in the comment, and if you're ready to join the elite inner circle, subscribe to Black Status and stay tracking the money with us. See you in the next video.